Woo! Hi everyone and welcome. I'm loving this music and I hope you are too. This is Jeanne-Marie Taylor of Jeanne-Marie Taylor Muse, readings, healings, and meditations. Welcome to today's channeled message. Every day, I'm going to be right here with you, bringing you high quality, uplifting healings, meditations, channeled messages, tips for building up your own intuitive and healing powers, and really anything else my guides and angels and yours want me to share. I'm on a mission, and that mission is to help you remember your strength and your abundance of gifts and giftedness. And I want to say thanks for being here. Thank you for your comments, for subscribing so you don't miss any messages. I want to create here with you something very special, a sense of community, a sense of our interwovenness, a circle of love and light and belonging. And we're about to get to our channeled message in just a moment. But before that, I feel inspired today to talk about one little portion of the Buddhist concept of right speech. I'm not a practicing Buddhist, but I love drawing upon the wisdom of various traditions and schools of thought. And the Buddhist notion of right speech is one of my favorite teachings from Buddhism. This concept has helped me to be more at peace and more successful in my relationships. For example, with my soulmate husband, Creed, and really with everyone. It's even enhanced my relationship with myself. The concept of right speech centers on using words that are true, balanced, necessary, and kind. And while we usually think about communication in terms of our reaching out and connecting with others, it's so important that we use the concepts of right speech when communicating with ourselves. You may have heard that it's difficult to fully love and accept someone else if you haven't yet learned to love and accept yourself in all of your humanness. And in the same way, the best way to refine and upgrade your communication with others is to start to become aware of how you are communicating with yourself, what messages you're sending yourself on a daily basis. In the same way that we would hope to choose our words skillfully when communicating with others, we need to pay attention to the words we use in communicating with ourselves, because words have power. Words have energy. Our words to ourselves are potent little energetic packages. And these packages can either be like little bombs containing a toxic brew just waiting to explode all over the inside of our head, or our words can be like little care packages of love and appreciation that we send ourselves, allowing us to feel embraced and supported and ready for what's ahead. So today I want to focus on just one of the components of right speech, the concept of truth. And I want to apply that to our self-talk, that ongoing stream of consciousness narrative that flows pretty nonstop through our heads as we move through each of our days. What does it look like when we apply truthfulness to our self-talk, the talk that's within our head? Well, the first thing I would ask you to consider is that many, if not most of us, are currently not speaking entirely truthfully to ourselves. Many of us are carrying around old ideas, old thought patterns, old expired ways of thinking about ourselves, old inaccuracies that are sitting there in our heads like spoiled food on a shelf. So here's one example. Maybe you had some awkward moments in grade school or in high school or college. But if you keep thinking of yourself as generally being a socially awkward person, if you are carrying around this concept of yourself as someone who has trouble connecting with others, when in fact you can look around you and see evidence to the contrary, you can see that you have been able to form meaningful, loving bonds and relationships. You have been able to hold down a job. You are able to speak from your heart when you need to. then you might be dealing with an old and inaccurate way of viewing yourself, an untruthful way of looking at yourself. And that can be keeping you from feeling relaxed and confident in social settings, or when having an important talk with someone you love. Or maybe it's keeping you from speaking up when you have a great idea. Or maybe your ideas about yourself are keeping you from having deep, meaningful conversations with people because you're pretty sure you're just going to botch it. So you want to keep things just mostly on the surface. So as you can see, untruthful communication with ourselves can have negative repercussions, not just in our own life, but really on the world at large. That person you're talking to is maybe not getting to hear things from you that could really help them. Or maybe the world is being deprived of a great idea or insight you have because you have this outdated idea about yourself, that you're an awkward speaker. Some of the worst examples of untruthful communication with ourselves come from when we adopt and perpetuate ideas about ourselves that well-meaning, but perhaps misguided parents or teachers shared with us decades ago in the form of a correction. For example, in my household growing up, one of the worst things you could be accused of was being sensitive. So I internalized the idea, the untruthful idea, that sensitivity was bad, that I should quell my sensitivity to others' feelings and energies. And it wasn't until I met Creed, my soulmate and now my husband, that I ever received the message that my sensitivity was actually something beautiful and something special, something valuable to him and to the world potentially, something I didn't need to apologize for, something that was worthy of my attention and the investment of time to develop it further. And that shift, the realization that the way that I'd been communicating with myself about my sensitivity had been inaccurate, the realization that my heightened awareness of others and their energy was not something I needed to be ashamed of, that was when my intuitive gifts opened up much, much wider and much faster than they had before, because now I was armed with a more gentle and more accurate way of viewing myself. So I was able to direct my sensitivity more fully toward helping others, serving others, as I had always wanted to. It was like my sensitivity, which I had been told was a fault rather than a gift, was now somehow blessed. And I literally wouldn't be speaking to you today had this amazing man, my husband, not helped me to understand that the sensitivity that I had actually been punished for in the past, in truth, was a gem and a gift that I could use to help others as a professional intuitive. So it's really important that we become aware of how we are speaking to ourselves and what messages we're sending ourselves so we can be more truthful and accurate in our communications with ourselves. When we apply the Buddhist concept of truthful speech to ourselves, to our own inner dialogue, it truly can be life-changing. I guarantee you that you too are probably walking around with some outdated concepts about yourself that are affecting how you view yourself, and by extension, how you interact with others. So if you feel comfortable sharing your thoughts here, I would love to hear from you. Do you believe that you too might have some kind of untruthful or toxic or self-rejecting messages sort of lurking around in your head? I want to invite you to ask yourself this question and to start becoming more aware of how you speak to yourself and the importance of being truthful with yourself. You know, this can be not only the first step toward greater peace and harmony in your own head, it can also be the first step toward having more peace and harmony with others. Because when you've learned to be kind and gentle and accurate with yourself in your own mind, it's so much easier to do this for others and with others. And now let's get to our channeled message, the message from our angels and guides. Our channeled message today actually arises from this Buddhist teaching we were just talking about, and I didn't plan it this way, but when I opened myself up to messages from the divine, this is what I received. When you speak to yourself, marry the concept of truthfulness to the concept of self-love. These are new times calling for new or newly deepened alliances, and this includes your new alliance with yourself, your ability to work cooperatively and peacefully with yourself to obtain the best outcomes for yourself and others. When you are not experiencing a harmonious relationship with yourself, you cannot add to the harmony of the universe. Thus, how you speak to yourself is extremely important now for the advancement of humanity. We ask you to rethink how you speak to yourself. Stop the part of you that self-critiques. Stop the negative stories you tell yourself about yourself. Now that you are experiencing new awareness and forming new habits surrounding physical hygiene and having certain standards you observe, such as standing a certain number of feet away from each other, we ask you to apply the same kinds of careful standards and discipline to your thoughts about yourself, your internal dialogue. You punishing yourself is not helping anyone. It's not helping you. And it is therefore not serving humanity or the forces of good and love and light, as we all are one, standing in a unified, energetic field. So instead of saying, I am fat, I need to exercise more, say, I am beautiful inside and out. I am beautiful when I exercise. Exercise helps me to stay calm and centered. I enjoy moving my body because I love myself. I will invest the time to learn how to make exercise more enjoyable for myself, as I am a creature like no other, a reflection of the divine who deserves to experience joy and wonder while I move my body. Stop the so-called tough love you show to yourself. This notion is false. There is insufficient love there, and there is insufficient truth. The next time you become aware that you are speaking to yourself in an unloving way, know that you are also speaking to yourself in an untruthful way. You are failing to tell yourself the whole truth about yourself. You are a reflection of the divine wholeness, divine goodness. When your words to yourself are unloving, when they are dissociated from your understanding of your beauty and your divinity, you are not standing in truth. To align yourself with the highest wisdom and truth about yourself, align yourself first with love for yourself. Align yourself with the understanding that you are good, that you are filled with light, that you are someone who has made literally millions of contributions to the universe over your lifetime and will make millions more. Tell yourself the whole truth about yourself. You are someone who is blossoming and improving daily. You are someone capable of moving mountains and inspiring thousands. Only when you show yourself love and respect can you be said to be standing in truth and speaking truthfully to yourself about yourself. You don't need more kicks, more self-critiquing. You need and you deserve more love. And when you speak to yourself with loving kindness, you are lifting up humanity and helping to evolve and elevate the universal vibration. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this channeled message today. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. And I'm going to look forward to visiting again soon. Until tomorrow, my friends.